Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to be looking at browsing and using the search engine. So I'm going to be using the Chrome browser, which I've downloaded, and it's on my desktop over here. If I will double left click on that, it will open up the Chrome browser. So the browser is just a way to connect to the internet, and it will also come with a search engine so you can do your searches. And the one that Google Chrome comes with is called Google, unsurprisingly. Now when you open up, you'll see that you've got these two bars. You've got one at the top here with this flashing cursor, and there's also a bar here which you can type your search in. It really doesn't matter which one you type into, but I'm going to be typing into this middle one because it's probably easier to see on the screen. Now, if you already know exactly what website, the address of the website that you want to go to, you can type that in directly here and it will take you straight there. So I'm going to do that here. If I know the address of the BBC is www.bbc.co.uk, and to search for all of these, once you've finished typing, if you press enter on your keyboard, it will send you off, and this is sending us straight to the website because we put the whole website name, the whole address name in perfectly. It takes us to the site straight away, so that's great. And so if you know the address of the website that you want to go to already, then you don't need to worry too much about the Google search engine, really. It just takes you there. But let's just go back and think of an example of when we might not know exactly where we want to go. So I'm going to do an example of search. We can think of this as just a way of you're just asking a question and trying to get the answer back from the search engine. So I could say, well, what is the weather going to be like tomorrow in Spain? Okay, so this is just an example, and the way to do these searches, and what I'm going to be emphasizing for this and for when you're practicing, is think of the question you want, that you're thinking about, and then try and break it down into the key words that are going to be important. What's the most essential part of this part of the sentence? So for the example that I said, so it's going to be Spain, and then I'm gonna add and like this, and weather, and I'm gonna put I could put the date. Let's just put the 7th of Feb. Okay, so what I've done here is I've got my question, which is what is the weather going to be like in Spain this weekend? Okay, and I've tried to compress that into the most succinct way I can, which is Spain and weather and 7th of Feb. And now let's see what happens. Hopefully when I press enter, we're going to get some good results. Now you can see actually Google has done a lot of the work for us. We haven't had to go to a website to get this information. It's pulled out there for us, and it does this actually for like things like the weather, things like if you do a calculation or like really common searches, Google will actually look inside the websites where the information is, and it will give it to us straight at the top. So it's saying here, this Sunday it's going to be 9 degrees. But if I scroll down a little bit further, this is what normally we're more interested in, is that it will give us several results. So in blue, that is sort of the headline, if you like, from that page. We talked about websites being like books, and the books being made up of pages. Well, the pages will have titles, and so the blue is just the titles in these different parts of the pages. But above the blue, and this is important and it helps us with our searching, is it tells us the website in which it's coming from. So this one is www.tripsavvy. Down here it's Thomas Cook. Keep going down. Climate data, easy voyage. Okay, so when you're looking, when you're making your search and you're looking at the results, have a look, of course, at this title here, Spain weather, February, how hot and sunny. But then also look at the website as well, because that will give you a clue as to whether it's going to be giving you the right information that you want. When you find one that you think is going to be useful for you, and I think this one's probably this one here would be good, weather forecast Spain in February. You can left click and you can see this is blue, and when you hover over it you get this underline. That means it's a link, and a link is something you can click on and it will take you to the page. So I could just go on this blue link here where it says February in Spain from TripSavvy. Let's just go on this website. That's a left click to go onto the website, And you'll see often it'll say things about cookies. We'll go into that later, but at the moment I'm just going to close that window. And now it will give us the article about the weather in February, and here look, it's giving you some information about what it's normally like. So this is actually not exactly what we were looking for, because we wanted to know about the actual weather on a particular day as opposed to what it's normally like. So once you're on a website, if you want to go back to that search page, if you go to this left arrow, it will take us back. You can notice now that this has got this purple now instead of blue, and that just basically shows you that you've clicked on it before. So that's kind of helpful when you're searching, because you might be, checking out a few of the different links and you might not remember which website you went to. So if you can see it goes purple, it's quite subtle. That shows that you've been there already. But actually the information exact that we want about the actual temperature, that's all been given here at the top for us by Google, so that's great for that search. Alright, so working through another example, I'm going to go for the example of looking at how many medals were won by the Australian team in the Olympics 2016. So there's a lot of information in that long sentence I've just said, but we could break it down into the most important keywords. We're going to put in Australia and medals and 2016. Okay, so these three keywords should be enough to get us the results that we want. Press enter and we can see the results. So there's actually quite a lot of results that are going to pop up here, and you can, if you scroll down, you see you've got all of these different pages with the results on them, but we normally focus on the top 3 results. Most of the time what you're looking for will be in the top 3 or 4 results. Let's have a look here. This is from Fox Sports, so that's a news website. And underneath the title about Australian medal tally, you can see here in light grey it has a date, and that tells you when the article or the web page was published. So it gives you a bit of an idea about what might be on that page. It's quite useful to have a little look at this timestamp, if you like, to see it. So let's open up this page. I imagine it might have a few adverts on it. A lot of the time news papers and news web pages do have adverts, but it's not looking too bad. So here, if I read through this article, I would probably find out about all the different medals that were won, which is great. Let's do another example, and I'm going to start with this one with it's going to be looking at the, let's say, an election in the Czech Republic in 2013. Okay, so there's quite random sort of questions here. It'd be difficult to know this off the top of your head, although some people do, I'm sure. But on this one, think before I write these down, what would be the keywords you'd want for this question? Who's going to be the election in 2013 Czech Republic? Well, for this one, I'm actually going to include most of the words that I had in my sort of question. I'm going to put Czech, I'm going to put elections or election, and I'm going to put 2013. Okay, and let's see what results we have. Okay, now we've got some results, and this is a good time actually to talk about something that is quite important. For the questions that we're asking here, the questions we're searching for are very sort of they're almost like quiz questions. Okay, and to be fair, Google is great for this. Like if you think, oh, when was the telephone invented, or you want to know some history, the internet is great because you can type these in as we've been doing, and you can get the answer very quickly. And Wikipedia, which is the top one here, is a website that has loads of information. It's basically a humongous it's basically a humongous collection of information, like an encyclopedia. And here we could learn about the 2013 Czech legislative election. So yeah, all the information about that on this page here. So yeah, that's an example of using it in that way. And I would actually encourage you to, I'm going to set some practice questions that are going to be very much like pub quiz questions, and see if you can find the answers by using these search terms. And then in the next video, I'm going to talk about some more advanced search techniques that can help you when you get stuck. But the thing that I want to say before ending this video is that I've been using fairly complicated, I guess, searches. Most of the time it's going to be, I want to go to Argos, you type in Argos and you get the Argos page straight away. Like, you'll have an idea of what you're looking for first. If you wanted to buy a fish tank, you just type in fish tank, and often the first result or the first couple of results that come up are going to be sort of what you're after. So searching doesn't have to be this like difficult thing, but I think it's important to just sort of stretch yourself a little bit with some more tricky examples, and then it will make finding the easier things super easy.